I think I might just do a separate video. Oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts a lot. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, my name is Segen. And in today's video, I'm gonna be doing this makeup look. I'm also gonna show you guys how I laid my edges. Can we take a moment? Can we take a moment? I did not know this day would come. My heart's actually racing. I'm gonna show you how I created this look. A lot is oldie but goodies, and a few things are new, especially the obvious. Duh. If you guys aren't subscribed to my channel, please be sure to subscribe, and let's get started with today's video. So, before I apply any makeup, I make sure that I've applied a good layer of moisturizer. For me, I have normal to dry skin, and I've already talked enough about my breakouts in my recent videos. So if you guys want to check out my last vlog on how I've been kind of dealing with my breakouts, go ahead and watch it. I'll leave it on the screen here and in the description box below. But I've moisturized my face, I've prepped it, and so we are ready for primer. So all the products that I'm going to be using in today's video will be linked in the description box below, so don't forget to check it out. My favorite primer is the Fenty Beauty Soft Silk Primer. It's like a hydrating primer, and I've talked about this enough on my channel, but if you guys are new here, this is what I love to use to prep and prime my face. But if you guys are looking for a primer that you can get at the drugstore, I would highly recommend the e.l.f. primer. So I'm just going to work the primer into my face. So I set my brows already with the Got2b clear gel. So next what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my brow pencil and just fill in the sparse areas. So I just kind of go along the bottom and fill it in. Also, as a pro tip, when you are doing your brows, you don't want to be too heavy-handed on the pencil itself. I find that when brows look a little too harsh, it's just not that flattering, but if that's what you guys like, then go for it. I just like to be a little light-handed on the brow pencil. That way there aren't any like harsh lines anywhere. And I've been really liking my brows really nice and full lately. When I do my brows at home, I kind of like leave a lot of hair. I just kind of clean up around the edges. So I also like to press with my finger just to make sure that everything is kind of nice and blended. So this part is optional, but I'm going to conceal around my brows. So I like to take a bit of concealer and a detail brush. I'm just gonna put a little bit of product on the brush, and I'm just going to conceal. This technique is especially good if you haven't had your eyebrows done. It just makes it look much cleaner and neater. I used to hate doing this, so I used to always skip this step. But the difference it makes, especially when your brows are like not kept, it makes a huge difference. So I like to clean the lid up a little later, but whatever's left over on the brush, I like to use to clean the top of my brow. At this point, I'm just going to take my beauty blender and just blend out around where I concealed, so it's all nice and evenly blended. All right, so let's work on our base. This is completely optional, but you can use a beauty blender to blend out your foundation, or you could use a brush. Lately, I've been kind of using both. I've been using the brush first, and then kind of using the beauty blender to kind of finish off the look. So I'm just gonna add some foundation. Foundation I'm using is by Fenty Beauty, and it's in the color 385. And anything left over, I just use to blend my forehead. So I don't know if you can tell, but I've tried to avoid putting foundation on my under eye because I'm just waiting to conceal and I don't want to put too much product on it. So I'm just blending my foundation out. So this part is completely optional, but what I like to do is I like to take a beauty blender and just kind of like pat down where I applied foundation just to get rid of any excess. So next I'm going to be taking concealer, but I'm going to try this one TikTok hack that a lot of people have been using lately. A lot of makeup artists have been saying to apply concealer on your inner corner and then down on your nose here. And then right here. So typically I would apply concealer kind of all over my under eye, but I've been using this technique and it's kind of nice. It kind of leaves off a finished, more lifted look, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna let that set for a little bit before I start blending it out. That way it gives us a nice, flawless, finished look. So as I'm waiting for the concealer to dry a little bit, I am going to set my baby hairs, and I'm gonna show you guys how I do it. This is completely optional, but since having these box braids in, I've been kind of setting my baby hairs after I apply on the concealer because I have time to kill. So I'm gonna show you guys how I do that. So I like to take the Blueberry Bliss Control Paste along with the olive oil, I think this is like a Hold and Shine Wrap Set Mousse. Anyway, I like to use these two products to set my baby hairs. So since I've had these braids in, I've been using the mousse kind of all over my braids like this. And I just kind of like let it sit and like do its thing. I haven't done this on camera yet. It's kind of nice. It's like, I don't know if you guys can hear it. Hold on. A little ASMR action for you. But that's what I use. And on my edges, I like to kind of like take it along a little bit on my edges. I know it looks crazy, but trust me, it works. At this point, I just like to take my fingers, drag it around my edges before I get to combing. Honestly, applying the mousse is such a great sensation. So I like to take this comb end of the brush and kind of brush my edges down. I know it looks crazy, bear with me. And then I like to take the brush with a little bit of the control paste and brush that down. Let me see if I can just use the viewfinder. So typically, let's make sure it's focused. So typically what I like to do is I like to comb this, kind of swoop it up like that. Swoop it up. And then this part where I kind of just combed it down, I kind of like to take the comb end and then do this like that. And I saw this on Instagram and I was just like, holy smokes, because she did what I did. I'm like, oh my gosh, she looks crazy. But then she took the comb end, I think she actually took a rat tail comb, and then she just kind of like took her baby hairs to the next level. Oh my god, this is like the before and this is the after. I'm going to do the same for this side. Now mind you, I'm looking at it from the viewfinder, and typically when I do this just in front of the mirror, like I'm like real up close and personal, so there might be some errors that I can't see from right now, but I'm gonna take a bit on my sideburns here. The flyaways and things like that, I'm gonna use a head wrap, and all those flyaways will be nice and set. So now we can do the rest of our makeup. And at this point, I feel like my concealer may have dried a little bit too much, so I'm just gonna put some finishing spray, blend out this concealer. Ever since seeing this hack, this concealer kind of technique on TikTok, I've been doing it the past couple of days and I've been really liking it. So I'm just gonna blend out the other side. So next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a lighter concealer and apply it just in this part right over here where my eye kind of dips. That way light can bounce off of it. So I'm just going to take this concealer, plop it on there, and then plop a little bit on there as well. Next, I'm going to blend out this concealer. Okay, beautiful. So next thing that we're gonna do almost immediately is set our concealer. But you got to make sure that you have everything blended, and if there are any creases, all you're gonna do is set the crease. So I like to make sure I have everything blended. I kind of look crazy, but it works. So here's the thing, I like to use 2 beauty blenders. This is optional, I just find that this works for me. This is the one I've been using to blend out my concealer, and this one right over here, you see how it's like a different shape? I'm gonna use it to set my concealer with translucent powder. So I'm gonna make sure I have everything blended. And another thing that I don't do, I don't bake. I just find that for me, I don't know if it's because if I have like dry skin, but it just makes my skin look super dry. And if there is any excess, I like to kind of dust it off with my brush, but this has been working for me. Now that I think of it, I do have super dry skin, especially underneath my eyes. Like I'm constantly always rubbing my eyes, which is not good, but it's just super dry. So that's why it's really important to make sure that you have your under eyes moisturized, like invest in a really good eye cream. I talk about the Ole Henriksen one a lot because I really like it. So just make sure that I have everything blended. So I don't know if you guys can see a difference. I guess I'm gonna insert like a before and after, but that dip that happens underneath my eye, it's just something that is natural that I have. But with concealing my under eyes and concealing that extra just where it kind of dips and then setting it with powder makes a difference. My hand looks like a mess because what you don't wanna do is use too much powder, unless that's your thing, but my face doesn't produce enough oil in order to soak up all of that powder. So I kind of use a little bit. So baking might work for some, but if you're like me, baking does not work at all. But at this point, what I like to do is I set underneath my eye. I'm going to actually set around my face. I'm just gonna take that same beauty blender. And what I've been doing off camera is, this is not ideal. I'm standing while I'm recording. I'm kind of dabbing excess off. So I'm gonna set my makeup along my face. But again, I'm not using a lot of powder. I'm just kind of like melting it in the skin. I'm like patting it in. So now I'm going to apply just a light coat of mascara. And we're almost done. We're just putting on the finishing touches. I think I might just do a separate video. Oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts a lot. I don't want to smudge my under eye, but I blinked and kind of poked my eye. My eyelids tend to crease, so all that I'm doing is blending out the concealer, and I'm just gonna actually take a bit of powder and set it so that it doesn't crease. So next, I'm going to take some blush and I'm just going to tap, 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 smile, and just apply a little bit of blush. I'm literally going to Dollar Tree after this, so I'm not trying to do the most, if that makes sense. I used to use like liquid contour to contour my face, but I just found that it was just a little too harsh. Like just even blending it out, I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. I find that contouring should kind of like, yes, define, but also warm up the face a little bit. So since then, I've been using bronzer. So I'm just gonna use a bit of bronzer and just kind of dust it around. It's not to say I'm never gonna use liquid, contour again, but I don't know, I just find that this is just more of like a natural finished look. That's what we want. So I'm just going to take a brown lip liner, like I always do, and I'm going to take a liquid lipstick and apply on my lips. Ooh. I feel like having a brown lip liner is a must, like you need to have it. always. And I have like 5 just around. I'm going to remove the head wrap and we're gonna see how these baby hairs turned out. Oh my god. Again, I'm no expert. I just started doing this, so. Whoa. Look at that. I don't know if you guys noticed, but like, I feel like after I put on that mousse, just even all over my braids, like my braids look refreshed. Oh my god. And I'm absolutely loving this. So I just like to take the butt of the Beauty Blender and just blend out just a little bit to make sure there aren't any like harsh anything. And this is the final look. I'm really happy with the new concealer technique. I find that like, because I have like a dip and my eyes are a little bit sunken, it's kind of like annoying because sometimes concealer can really highlight that and I don't want that to highlight at all. Also, the baby hairs. Loving them. I'm loving these braids and yeah. Oh, I live. Okay, so that wraps up today's video. If you guys aren't subscribed to my channel just yet, please subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and on TikTok, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!